Good morning, Acadiana, and welcome to another edition of Morning Coffee with Big Al.
And Special T.
We're happy to be coming to you from Cypress Street Radio, AOC Community Media's streaming broadcast.
Look for us every day of the week. Our 8 a.m. show will start your morning off right. That's right in a good way.
Not right as in radical right. We bring you good ideas, good pastimes, and who knows what else. With a progressive flair.
Yeah, we got to practice that a little bit more. Okay, well, our 7 p.m. stream is a great backdrop for some decaf and peace of mind. So either way, you can get your coffee, because it's morning coffee. If you're watching in the morning, you can get your evening tea if you're watching at night. Or you can get something stronger any time of day. Yeah.
Yes, so, it's kind of up to you since you're in your own home, probably, and it's kind of a freedom of one of those. I don't know if it's a constitutionally guaranteed right, but I think it's
freedom of speech, freedom of the press. That's what we're for. We're all about freedom, and I am so for freedom, and especially freedom to communicate with others.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a good thing.
That's a good segue for something that's kind of on my mind specifically. It's really interesting that cutting off communications and isolating people is like one of the first steps in establishing an abusive relationship.
I would tend to agree with that. I was thinking more of a fascist type deal, but that's, I guess we'll go with
on a more basic sense, I mean, the relationships between people, husband and wife, parents and their kids, people in organizations and people in companies, keeping the people from interacting with each other is a form of abuse. It's the stepping stone to worse things.
Yeah, I would. Communication is, as we used to say in a particular group that I was in, the universal solvent.
Okay.
So, it's good to communicate.
Absolutely. And, for a while there, we were worried that we were going to lose our ability to have, free press. We had so much pushback talking about how horrible the media is, from the top seat in government, not necessarily sat in by the top person, but or the best person. But remember all that? I mean, every time it seemed like there was some jab at the media, the people who were the reporters, the ones who were doing the communicating.
Well, there is a big desire to control the information, and that's you have people and or corporations, which of course are run by people, but they want to control the information, so you hear what they want you to hear.
Right, and nothing else.
Right.
And so you are limited on your ability to make the best decisions when that happens, because you don't have a full understanding of what has transpired.
Right.
And what's happening, maybe that you probably need to know about.
Kind of like the constitutional amendments when you're voting. I mean, instead of just, you can come out and say something, well, this is what this is.
Yeah.
Or you can have, a paragraph that takes, 20 seconds to read. Then you got to reread it a few times to figure out what they're trying to say. And then there's probably a lot of things you don't know about because they're not really mentioned right there directly, but there's some other controlling legislation or something that has an effect on it. That it's really, sometimes it's a little bit difficult, although it was not too difficult for me to go vote, and I think I did a pretty good job, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's really interesting because there was actually a gathering of university students at the University of Louisiana Lafayette who are under an umbrella of a service organization in town, and they had a speaker come and talk about the ballot and the amendments and just everything on the ballot, and specifically about the linguistics and the way it was worded. And the message was that they make it confusing by design.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It would be very easy to make it where it was easy to understand, but by design, they put it at like a level where most people are not going to be able to understand it. And that held true for all those amendments. And it was really interesting to see. And I'm still curious about why John Bell Edwards sent out the message for everybody to vote yes for 1 and 2.
I don't know. I mean,
he was saying that it would improve jobs, but I'm like, how? I mean, to me, it seemed like what it's doing is it's taking the authority of smaller municipalities to target and utilize the sales tax that they're able to generate themselves. Whereas it sounded like it was like, no, we want everybody to send their money to a state organization who will decide and distribute the funds from the sales tax however they want, as opposed to like they know better how to use it. I mean, it might be, I don't know. It's giving the authority of the state the power to distribute it, I guess, for the benefit of the state, as opposed to those little areas that might be making good money.
That's hard to say. I mean, I voted against that one, but the reason being, I mean, if you're going to have something that I mean, generally I like automation. Instead of having to go through a bunch of intricate processes to do something that's pretty basic. I mean, I'm okay with that, but the thing is, when you're giving up your control over whatever it happens to be, in this case, I suppose we're talking about basically the sales tax revenues, then, it's like, oh, trust us, we'll do a good job with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, well, I don't know.
I don't know, we haven't been given a lot of assurances that, I mean, I like our governor. I mean, don't get me wrong. And like I said, I'm curious as to how that's going to help improve jobs. I mean, is he thinking that if we did that, that the state could make Louisiana, certain places, more attractive to companies? Now, the one that did pass, which was the Second Amendment, had to do with filing, and it was supposed to undo the complicated process of allowing individuals, and I guess corporations too, to have a write-off for the federal tax that they paid. I don't know if it's the same year or whatever, the year before, I don't know, but if you get a write-off for you do your federal taxes, and then you do your state taxes, and then you get a reimbursement for the federal taxes that you pay. And at this point now, I'm confused because I thought it was the year before, but maybe not.
I think it's the same year. But I mean,
it is where it makes it more difficult. You have to do your federal taxes first, and you can't do your state taxes at the same time. I mean, at least the last part of it, you know.
Well,
and maybe everything else relies on that percentage. I don't know. It is kind of complicated. I had heard that it takes corporations and companies a long time to do their taxes for Louisiana because of that.
That I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, so anyway, taxes are almost, you know, we've been given a lot of extensions this year because of all the hurricanes and everything else. I think Louisiana has been given more time than lots of other states. I don't know if there's been extensions to, like California, for all the fires that they had in certain areas. But Lafayette and Lake Charles and almost all of Louisiana, the southern part of Louisiana, has been impacted terribly by the storms. There are areas that are still in recovery mode, still waiting for all their services to be restored. One of which, you know, is like Grand Isle and the ones that are, you know, that were in the path of Ida.
Yeah.
I know that I'm part of an organization that just sent 2 big refrigerator units to Grand Isle, and that there's a group there, you know, among the people that are living there and work there, to set up a centralized distribution center, and that's where those refrigerator units went, under the auspices of the club name.
Yeah.
And that's coming together, and they're needing assistance still. There's families who have been really hard hit, and so we're planning to participate in a program to adopt a family for the holidays. And I think that individuals that are in our group can adopt a family themselves if they so choose. To, you know, bring them or send them food and funds and, you know, things that they would like, ask them what they would like and see if they can help in some way. Maybe even go down and visit, you know. It's up to those individuals, but I know there's, at one point, you know, they're not having the Christmas in the park at Park International.
No, I didn't know that.
They're not going to have that. Instead, they're going to have the Christmas celebration last several days in Muncus Park, in the big central park of Lafayette. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Well, yeah.
They've got like a nice lineup of different groups and bands and things. I like the idea that they've got high school and school choirs singing holiday carols, you know, for entertainment. I really like that.
I don't guess I knew about that.
Yeah, so check your community calendars, do a little Google search for Lafayette, and look up a holiday in the park, and cross-reference Muncus, M-O-N-C-U-S Park.
I always thought that was a funny name.
M-U-N-C-U-S. It is a different name.
I guess it's named for somebody?
Yes, Mr. Muncus.
Oh, Mr. Muncus. Oh, okay. Well, that lays it all out for me.
Yes, he ran into I try to remember how he made so much money, but then he started like putting money here and there and here and there, and with that money came the condition that he would name the thing after him. So at ACA, you have the Muncus Stage.
The what now?
Acadiana Center for the Arts. They built this really nice stage that you can change its format. I don't know if you knew that or not. Have you ever been to the auditorium thing at Acadiana Center for the Arts on London and Jefferson? Almost. It changes. You can make it where it's like it has like almost like a catwalk. You can make it where it's in the center and all the chairs are around it. You can make it flat. You can make it tall. You can make it like a normal, traditional stage. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, I've been there several times, but I don't guess I knew about the stage.
Yeah. And then, it's really nice because, you got those upper levels and lighting, and I really enjoy going to things at that theater. And like I said, it changes. They had a thing where they had a dinner in there, and they had lots of little tables, and then they had a small stage, and they had the skinny stage, and then they all had lots of projections that made the food, incorporated the food that they had into art. So they had like really a multi-dimensional art show that also included dance. It was like out there among the people. And they used dance to serve the food, some dancers. And I'm trying to think of where I went to some dinner. I don't think it was there though, but it was some kind of a community deal. It's been a while back. I mean, it's been a few years. Yeah, this was a while back too. And the cooks, they had like different chefs that took certain modules of the production, and they used their food. And some of the food was really good, and some of it was like strange.
Really?
Like they had something that I think had sea urchins in it, and it was in the show, and it tasted really odd. It was probably sort of Asian or something. I don't know. It was just real different. Maybe it was an island dish. Speaking of islands, I got a one of those little skinny cookbooks from the islands that has some of the nicest recipes in it. Do you remember when we did a show that focused on some person who put together a cookbook? Do you remember that?
Shown somebody who put together a cookbook.
A cookbook.
It rings a dim bell, but I really
don't.
Real
long ago, I think he did a vegetable cookbook, and it was really big.
Oh yeah.
And then there was somebody that lived in Miami where this cook, I think, or cookbook author lived, but he had died, and so he was working on trying to do some sort of a production that told about this author and the author's life and his research into different cuisines and what all he did. It sounded very interesting. I don't know if it ever came together. There was something else that I saw at Sit Down. I'm about to sneeze. I hope I don't, but I might.
Oh, if you do.
I hope I don't.
Give you a free blessing.
Was a collaboration between three different, maybe it was two different, I don't know if it was three different bands or two bands, but three different versions of Native American chants that related to the different types of the different moons that are in Native lore. You know, like we've got the harvest moon and the moon, and everything has like a different animal or something that relates to that particular moon. Right. Now, there's chants that go with each one in some particular tribe, and there was a band from France, and then a band who had some members who had a lineage in Native American lore, who came and performed at Cité.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was at Cité, and it was so engaging. I mean, it was so interesting because they were going to put together a CD with the same chants, but in each of these different genres. with the Native American chant, and then a version that had to do with like French culture, and then one of like American culture. And they performed some of these, and they were really cool. And it was odd because the one of them who was Native American, I went and talked to him because I had run into a lady who was doing research on the Native American tribes that were in Mississippi and Louisiana. And I met her at the Capitol in Mississippi, Jackson. And she and I both were staying at this really nice little hotel that had been converted from the old YWCA and a bomb shelter in Jackson. And we ended up having breakfast together all the time. It was funny because the waitstaff said, "Oh, we were wondering when you two would get together." But anyway, she's a professor in Iowa. Remember the place that Bobby Jindal said he wanted to live? He said,
"No, I don't."
Iowa's pretty nice. I might move my family here when he was running for president.
Well, and he didn't.
No, I mean, I put the word out. I said, you do not want to roll out the red carpet for this person. And then I listed all the reasons why, and sent them like news stories and all that different stuff. You know, I mean, I documented what my suggestions were, but did it through the academic community. But anyway, the guy said that he had married the girl a woman who was one of the head librarians in New Orleans, and she was English background, and here he was Native American, and you know they're talking about the French and all, and you know we've got this thing with the French and the English that has to do with the exile of the Acadians from Canada.
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you sleeping with the enemy?" That was kind of funny. He said, "Yeah, but we've gotten past all that, so that's good."
Yeah, that was, I guess, largely responsible for our Cajun culture here in this area.
Yeah.
The expulsion from Canada.
That's true.
Back in whenever it was.
Right. And the really cool thing or interesting thing, you know, we have the Six Flags or whatever in our area. We don't have a theme park, do we? A Six Flags over Louisiana?
Now maybe Six Flags over Texas has.
We have that.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I know that the Acadians were welcomed by the governor of this area who was from Spain or Mexico. He was Spanish for sure. And he was the one who welcomed them. So,
probably Spain. Because
it was Louisiana and Spain. Anyway, that was pretty cool. And I had his name written somewhere, but I didn't expect to be talking about that today.
Oh, really? Well, I guess maybe it'll come to you.
Fernando? No, I don't know. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's a rich culture that we've got here, but it certainly presents obstacles for making things move smoothly. With you know, the fact that we've got Napolitanic law here as opposed to common law, but in discussions there's been a adoption that we're moving more and more toward having common law in many aspects.
Well, I guess that might be either good or bad. I guess it depends on how it's applied.
Yeah, well, it has to do a little bit with communications, doesn't it?
Well, probably.
Full circle. You know, being able to operate, you know, one way to exclude other people is to just completely have a different system. You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we are currently, to the best of my knowledge, we are the only state in the union that has the Napoleonic Code as the basis.
Napoleonic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I may be saying it wrong. You probably have it right.
Yeah, you are, but that's okay.
Napoleonic
Code, yeah. I think it was named after some guy in France, Napoleon or something.
Yeah, I've heard about him. I have a law book here that's on that, but I haven't read it. Yeah, it's hard to read.
Well, it seems, really the only thing, as far as the succession, it seems like they tried to, one of the main things was trying to make it to where it was difficult for women to inherit property. But that's,
maybe we'll get onto that after our break.
Well, it could be. We could do that, but
like I say, women's rights and
that sounds
equal
good.
Opportunity and equal work, equal pay, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Okay.
But honestly, my knowledge of the Napoleonic Code and how it affects our law here in Louisiana is somewhat limited, although it's, people always say it makes things more difficult, or you have to be careful, or you have to do things differently because of that. But, I've
just do
never
the
dug into
best you can and hope that you're not, falling in a pit somewhere that's a booby trap.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, we will.
Speaking of booby traps, maybe we should take a break here before too long.
I think that's a good idea. We'll come back in a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
He say freedom is worth his heart stopping. But he still learned to call the streets daddy. 13 years old, CPS relieved his mama of her burdens. Said she had too many rocks to carry, too many bars to hold. Day in, day out, all he learned was trapping. Ain't nobody build him no foundation. He inherited bricks from the pavement. 2 generations before him inscribed his destiny in 6x8 cell block. His meemaw say he ain't never had a chance. System caught him too many times trying to play a man. But freedom say we punish because we uneducated. Louisiana has a history of turning heads and cloaking itself in silence. Rather build more prisons than educate its people. Shaka say, when little black boys rock lullabies against their tongues, it sounds like, I keep my pistol on me at night, so I can live to see the daylight. I keep my pistol on me. Then he did it. Bust down man door, grab man money. Ain't nobody stand in the way of Shaka feeding his children. Louisiana ain't offering no job opportunities, weak ass rehabilitation, low quality education. Rather box him in when he can't afford probation. Rather stick him back in the fields. Angola say, boy, that cotton's still waiting. Them chains still ringing, them guards steady aiming. Damn. Don't that sound a lot like slavery? Like broken system? Like need for change? Shaka say, freedom is worth his heart stopping. That sorrow rests along the faces of the damned, and guilty are those who sit and behold. How much is your freedom worth? Thank you.
women's rights and remembering that, somehow, if I'm not mistaken, we probably showed off our new person who's going to be taking care of infrastructure.
Did we? Yeah, I think we may have.
Yeah. Everybody know Mitch Landry? Some of y'all, Landry. Some of y'all don't like him. He was the
Landry,
one that got. He's the one that got our circle in New Orleans cleaned up. Remember that?
The what?
The circle in New Orleans.
The circle?
Yeah, the circle. Over by the French Quarter. Used to have a big, tall pedestal on the top. We had some Confederate.
Oh, okay. Something.
Generally me.
Something. Yeah. Okay. No. You're talking about.
Mitch Landry.
No, I'm thinking. Well, that circle has a name, but I can't think of it right now.
Oh, I have no idea what the circle's name is.
At least I thought it did. I thought it was. But I suppose that's a good thing. I mean, when you actually know why the stuff was put up there, and
and we got it done in Lafayette too. Everybody who's listening from overseas or up north or across.
Even in Lafayette, even if you're listening around here.
Right. If we got the area in front of the city hall. They removed General Mouton. They didn't destroy it. It's not like they took it and axed it or anything. They just are putting it in a better place.
Yeah.
Probably his home.
Yeah. We can say General Mouton's moved on to a better place.
Mouton, yeah.
Yeah. Mouton's moved on.
They've got several museums here in downtown that are either places they lived or whatever. But those, I think, are definitely better spots for him. And there's one thing that I think would be really nice, and it's not about like women's rights or anything, but over there on Evangeline Thruway and the west side of the intersection on Pinhook, there's a school there. I think it's Rowan School. That's an elementary school. Got a lot of administration buildings and after-school programs there now, but it used to be like an elementary school. And there's a playground or play area, a field that's fenced in for the kids to do stuff, for everybody to do stuff. But part of it is shaded by these really huge, beautiful live oaks.
Okay.
And over there they've got one of those, I think it's like metal and brass markers that are put up like by some historical group, society, whatever, that talk about the Mouton plantation and what was there right there at that particular area. And it's interesting. It's worth going and having a little picnic there because it really is beautiful. Just because of the natural layout of the oak trees. And the text and everything has like a pelican at the top in the middle.
Okay.
So it's
I don't think I've seen that.
Well, we need to go.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
I would love to go there and bring Professor Grasso there, the one that's like the history professor, because I'm sure he has so many good stories to tell. That would be a cool field trip for a group.
Yeah.
When the weather's nice.
It's been getting a little cooler here lately, but I guess not too bad.
So, anyhow, the picture that we had shown was from the 2016 Democratic Convention.
Okay.
And Mary and Mitch Landry were there. That happened to be the convention that spotlighted Hillary Clinton and her husband. And they had a lot of really good entertainment there. People like Katy Perry and what's the lady that did, oh man, I hate that because she's one of my favorites. I can't even think of her name.
What does she play?
She plays the piano and she writes a lot of songs like "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman" and
You
the
can think of the
"Let
song.
the Earth Move Under My Feet" okay, name that too. Name that.
Carole King?
Carole King, that's it.
Okay.
She was there. Lady Gaga was performing, but
Yeah.
if you got free tickets to go to see Lady Gaga if you had paid to go to the convention. But if you went to see Lady Gaga, you would probably be locked out of the convention hall because you had to be there by a certain time and the doors shut and nobody else could play. Which was kind of sad because I'm sure she performed a great performance, but they made it where it was really difficult to go.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of anything like that.
Yeah, it's really, and those things, they're really done like clockwork. They want people to be in their seats early so it fills up.
Yeah.
And they don't want people coming in during the program because it's a security risk. And at the same time, it's so crowded.
Yeah.
Crowded. What did they do this time? I know they did some really weird stuff because of COVID for our conventions this year or last year. 2020.
Yeah.
People were catching COVID and they couldn't really have the normal thing. I think it was like a virtual convention.
Yeah. I don't really know. I mean, I don't recall what the deal was with that. I mean, I know I was not
memorable. The memorable convention.
Yeah, part of the when the election was stolen.
Yeah. Oh, that was memorable.
Yeah.
That gives you nightmares.
Yeah, it was.
They still haven't done anything. Well, they have. They're still working on it, right?
Well, they are. I'm hoping that it's just being thorough.
Yeah.
But
well, it needs to be thorough and true. I mean, we don't want to be, doing anything wrongfully. But we don't want to turn a blind eye to things that were wrong.
Yeah, even though we've done that since, the 60s. I mean, but, maybe I guess it's never too late to
start
turn over a new leaf.
Yeah, I guess. Politics as usual,
Yeah. It's the system is kind of, the incentives are in the wrong place. And
people get a taste of power and they don't want to give it up. And unfortunately, it seems that is true with women just like men. So we got equality there.
Well, that's good. At least we got some
equally bad, equally good. We're going through some stuff that just really surprises me. But it's like, I guess it's just knowing how to play the system. That's a big part of it. Campaigns are challenging.
Yeah.
And if you're in power, you definitely, if you're in the position, you definitely have an advantage over anybody else. And if you're one of those people who take the information and not, and use it as a power play to make it where your other people don't have an equal playing field. It's going to work out where you win, typically.
Well, definitely money has too much of an influence on politics.
I agree.
I mean, there needs to be some funding, obviously, but it's not, when you have it boiled down to who's the best at raising money, what indication is that of how good of a
leader you
whatever
are?
a leader, or actually it's a servant when you get right down to it. I mean, they're all public servants.
Yeah, should be.
They're supposed to be. I mean, that's what they are. But but they've kind of
they've flipped it.
Yeah. Well, they think they're kings again. But
I have a real good friend who said that these people are desperate to stay in office because they don't have any life skills other than playing the system. But some of them, that's really true.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Some of them have never had a job in their lives.
That's probably true too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're performing a service, I mean, if you're really good at serving your community or whatever, whatever your jurisdiction is. I mean, if you're good at providing people with, good jobs, good infrastructure, all this good stuff. I mean, that's a worthwhile pursuit to me.
Yeah, it is.
But if it's just, if you're not doing that and you're just, trying to make people think you're doing something, and but that's it's like the infrastructure, the bill that we got passed recently. I mean, that's such a pittance on what we need.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess, but I don't guess people realize how much money needs to be spent on the maintenance of all the things we have.
Right.
And it's, I don't know, it's kind of it's gotten to a game to where it's just, the substance seems to have little to do with it. It's just a question of, winning or losing or having control, or, it's not, I don't get the idea that most of the people up there are actually doing a lot of good work for their...
I think a lot of them have gone there with the idea that they're going to make sure that nothing gets done.
Well, it sure seems that way.
And it's so frustrating.
Yes, definitely annoying.
Yeah. Okay, and we were talking a little bit before the break about women's equality and something about Louisiana, some action that they had taken that was possibly mainly to make sure that the women did not get property, succession.
Right. Well, now that's my limited understanding of one of the main tenets, I suppose, of the Napoleonic Code. It was, I don't know. I mean, patriarchal society, yeah. But I mean, I don't know.
Which the church is too.
Oh yeah.
That thing about women submit to your husband.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think you have to say that to people who have bad husbands.
Well, the Louisiana is heavily influenced by the churches. I guess it's why we don't have counties here. It's why we have parishes. But
I never thought of that.
Really,
I was wondering why we didn't have counties.
Well, I mean, that's, once again, I'm not a expert on that, but that would be my guess, because that's the only other place I can think of where that word's used.
Right.
But I guess I could look it up and see if there's other meanings, but and I'm sure there's some, but I think generally it's like an area covered by a particular church or priest or whatever. But it's interesting in any case.
Yes.
But
for people I know that are from out of state, it's Lafayette Parish, and put in parentheses, parishes county here.
Yeah.
One of those interesting hurdles of communication.
Yeah, it's. I always found it kind of interesting, but
one of my favorite advocates for free speech and the freedom of the press is our own Ed Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been very vocal about that and concerned about the control of the internet and broadcast.
I've heard different things about that, but I don't know. I haven't heard the latest from Ed on that, although...
I haven't either. I don't know what he's been doing lately. Used to be I'd see him whenever I go to the CC coffee shop. Oh, yeah? The one on South College. But...
Okay.
Not my favorite coffee shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like the one on Johnson Street over by the movies.
The theater?
Yeah.
Java,
Yeah, we're not supposed to say
yeah,
that.
that's right. Yeah. That's why I stopped myself short.
Like,
maybe I'm not supposed
coffee.
to.
That's coffee. That means coffee, y'all. And we do love our coffee. I got some special coffee for Christmas that I got to open up all my Christmas presents.
Oh, really?
And I got another bag of Kahlua coffee, and I got a bag of Godiva caramel coffee.
Huh.
The Kahlua is really nice. It had a nice aroma.
Oh, yeah?
It definitely smells like Kahlua. It's really nice. And then the Godiva coffee's good, too.
Kind of a chocolatey deal or what?
It's hard to describe. But it is pleasant.
I've been wanting one of those little packets of, like a pecan flavored
sampler.
Coffee. Well, you used to get those at one of the grocery stores around here, whose name I won't mention.
Right.
But, a little, like a 2-ounce packet or something like that, and now they don't seem to have it. And not only that, it took me probably 20 minutes to find the coffee.
They used to have a place where you could grind the coffee in the store. And I don't remember which one it is either. But it seems like it would be one that was pretty common. And it was kind of cool that you could you could blend your own mix, couldn't you? Or did you have to?
Yeah, well, I think you could. I mean, but seemed like you had one grinder that was for flavored and one that was for straight, straight coffee. But you can still, there is still at least one place where you can do that. And it's not too far from where I live and from River Ranch and off of
that stuff. I have a funny story to tell.
Oh, okay. Well,
I went to a place downtown to eat, and it's kind of I wouldn't call it high end, but sort of a preppy atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it is usually pretty packed and open. And a friend of mine and I went to have some food there, and they specialize in a certain type, more or less of cuisine. One thing in particular is in the name of this place. But anyway, they could make coffee and bring it to you, but they had no creamer. They had no creamer. And my friend's like, well, I would like some cream in my coffee. And like, they were like, we have espresso. They don't have cappuccino. They have espresso coffee, and they have coffee, but we don't have any cream. Which was like weird, you know?
Yeah, it seems kind of
like you're missing something.
Odd. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they ended up bringing some heavy cream from the alcoholic bar for the friend of mine who always drinks cream in their coffee. And I don't think she'll be going there very often now.
Well, I mean, that's not such a bad, you know, I mean, I like coconut creamer myself, but then, you know, if worse comes to worse, I'd probably take heavy cream, you know?
Yeah. Heavy cream's not
I don't
bad.
see it
But
half and half or whatever, you know, I don't see it as all that much. Maybe just put a little bit less, so.
I like talking about coffee on Morning Coffee.
You do what now?
I said, I like talking about coffee on Morning Coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we should talk about watermelon.
Yeah, okay.
This is a watermelon, y'all. I have a watermelon that is probably about 15 inches long.
Yeah.
And probably about 6 inches in width, or what would that be?
Yes, that would be
Diameter. That's all the way across, right?
Right.
And it is so heavy. It feels as heavy as those great big ones.
Oh, yeah?
But here's the good part.
Is that good? Is that ripe?
Yeah, it's ripe.
Okay.
It's got
That's
that
kind of small, you know, for being.
Pound. And this, I can guarantee you, is sweet, and it's got lots of seeds in it. And somebody I was talking to the other day wanted some seeds, but I can't remember who it was.
Well, I guess this can be the notice.
Yes,
for
this
whoever
is the
it
notice.
is.
I'm going to be cutting this watermelon open pretty soon, and anybody that wants prolific vines and really tasty watermelon, give me a shout, and maybe I'll send you a little 6-pack of seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I got these little bitty envelopes, and we can do that. And maybe I'll put a picture of this watermelon once I cut it open.
Yeah.
On our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And we'll share seeds like the library in Austin, Texas.
Sounds good.
And we have somebody there's a new librarian at the West Regional Library, and she and her husband went to Austin, and we were talking about how wonderful and beautiful that library is. So if anybody goes to Austin, include that on your bucket list for Austin visits. You might be going this Thanksgiving. Go to the library. It's really cool.
Interesting.
And if you're not going to the library or going to Austin, you can go to the library here in Lafayette. And it can be really cool too. Take a tour. Go to every regional library. They all have a theme. Go to the little children's area and see how they're different. And check out some books, movies, and CDs and audiobooks.
I was just at the library last night.
I love the library.
Yeah, but, you know, unfortunately we have some entities that want to, I don't know.
Its value.
Well, they don't appreciate the value. They want to, not quite burn books yet. I mean, maybe they want to. They just hadn't got to that point yet. But it's getting
tense. But we've been victorious. Yay, library. All y'all put your I love the library bumper stickers on your car. If you don't have one, I think I have a couple of extra.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll take a picture of that, too.
Yeah, that would be good.
You could use one.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, I like the library. I mean, you know, people say, it doesn't get used that much, but we've been to a lot of meetings recently at libraries.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Okay, on that note, is it time to go?
I think it's about time to go, but at any rate, come see us on Facebook. It's Morning Coffee at Cypress Street Radio. And in the meantime, y'all have a great day.
Bye, y'all. Have a wonderful week. Visit us often.
Yeah.